Review. This will be the patch used for MSI. So every patch after this will not be used at the MSI Championship. This patch will be used at the MSI Championship. Kitty's playing behind me, so if you hear loud kitty noises, that's just Kitty. We have not actually a very big patch, but we have a patch. I mean, it is a patch, right? So let's go through it. I think I can get through this one in under, honestly, I think I could probably get through it in under 20 minutes. So if I don't get through it in 20 minutes, your money back. First up, we have a nerf to Aurelian's soul. His health growth is down, his armor growth is down. Why? Because he's too overpowered at the low ranks, so they're nerfing his scaling. I don't think that he's really going to be much of an issue at the high ranks anymore. He's just going to take too long to scale, and it's not really going to be a viable option at this stage. But that's what they get for making a champion who literally just presses Q, then tries to hold his mouse cursor over you as best as he can. Ezreal is getting buffed because Ezreal is getting buffed. He's like one of the most popular ADCs in the game, so it kind of blows my mind that he's getting buffed. Even now, you can literally see he's at 4th highest pick rate with a fine 48% win rate. That's fine. At high ranks, he's 6th highest pick rate, 48%. 48% is balanced for this champion, so I don't know really what Riot is doing here, to be honest. Yeah, kind of dumb of them. Garen'S getting buffed. He's just getting a little bit more base damage by 3 and more base armor by 2. This actually is probably going to be pretty impactful for Garen. 3 base damage and 2 base armor. That means all those early trades will go a little bit more favorably towards you. That means when you're getting burst, you'll get burst a little bit less. That reduces the amount of damage you take throughout a lane, etc., etc. All in all, I think this is actually a pretty good buff for Garen. It doesn't, like, the thing is, at the low ranks, he already does extremely good. So buffing is late game, and once again, I say for the 19th time, if you buff late game, that tends to impact the low ranks more. If you buff the early game, that tends to impact the high ranks more. Garen currently gets outperformed at the high ranks pretty hard, while still doing at the low ranks. Now, obviously, this will impact the low ranks still, because if you win early game, you have more gold, which means you get more kills. That's called snowballing, right? So this definitely still will affect his early game. Yes, I'm giving more attention to Garen, because this buff and this nerf, they're really boring. But the Garen buff is at least exciting, because it might make him more playable. I mean, it definitely will make him more playable, and it definitely will make him more viable by a lot. Yeah. Then we have Janna. Janna's getting her W damage buffed a little bit. Both the AP ratio and the base damage is going up by 10. That is pretty good, because Janna kind of does basically 0 damage right now. She was like giga nerfed like 5 times in a row. So they're kind of toning her back up a little bit, giving her some more power back, because she was like 54% win rate for an entire year. It just, nobody seemed to ever notice. So then they giga stomped her into the ground, and then she's just kind of been not bad, but not particularly good. 10 more damage, 10 more % AP ratio, and then the shield decay time on her E is going up. So basically after 1.25 seconds, the shield would start to decay. Now it's going to be after 2.5 seconds, the shield will start to decay. Both of these seem fine, I think. I don't really have an issue with them. I think they'll be fine. Jarvan is getting his Q damage unbuffed. They did that a little bit ago. And then he's getting his attack damage growth reduced. The last time I actually went and checked this out, the last time they buffed Jarvan's damage and his Q was back in Season 10. So they're undoing that Season 10 buff. My hobby is... My hobby is remembering when they do buffs and unbuffs and nerfs and unnerfs on all the individual champions, because it's so wacky and rare. It's not, no, I shouldn't even say that. It's unrare that it happens. It actually happens quite often. So I've kind of kept track of them all. Kayn, Blue Kayn, who they buffed, who they're now unbuffing, is getting the movement speed in his E reduced and the cooldown on his E increased. Blue Kayn being nearly impossible to ever kill if he doesn't just get one shot was a bit annoying for a lot of people. and being able to constantly go into the terrain and threaten to one-shot people, or being able to go in, then go out, then go in, then go out, definitely was really annoying. So actually, I do like this nerf they're doing. The movement speed makes him a little bit more catchable, and the cooldown increase means that hopefully he can't just E in, do a combo, ult, do a combo, then E out, like with no downtime, and you're just left sitting there like, cool, awesome. What was I supposed to do about that? Kha'Zix is getting his Q damage. I did check this one because I was like 100%. Kha'Zix is getting his Q damage back to its Season 7 standards. Yes, this is how much damage it did way back in Season 7. So it's been 6 years since Kha'Zix Q has been 70 to 170 damage. The AD ratio is a little bit higher still. So between the base damage and the isolation damage and all that stuff, Kha'Zix Q will be hitting really, really hard. The AD ratio isn't as high as it used to be I think it was like a couple years ago, but this ability will still definitely hit really hard. I don't think Kha'Zix is like particularly doing bad. He's just not doing good. Every jungler in the game right now is overpowered. So the issue is, even if you're good, you're not going to get picked because you're not overpowered. Every single jungler is overpowered. Kogmas is getting buffed a good bit, actually. His passive will now ghost him. So there's a summoner spell Ghost, and then there's Ghosted. I know it's confusing, but the summoner spell Ghost gives you the Ghosted buff. And I know what you're saying. What? Yes, the movement speed is movement speed, but being able to walk through minions and champions is Ghosted. So the summoner spell Ghost gives you Ghosted and movement speed. Do you get it? Cool. So basically, he'll be able to run through anything. Yeah, it matters so he won't get minion blocked randomly and then like lose a kill or something. Then the base damage on his passive is getting buffed a little bit at the early game, a little bit more into the late game. Kogmas' passive really didn't do anything anymore, so actually I think it's a good idea that they buffed it. You know, make jokes all you want about Kogma abusing his passive, but I think Kogma's passive definitely needed to actually do damage, because right now it doesn't do damage. It just doesn't do damage. Like, I'll see people all the time just sit and hit it, and it won't even kill people from a 4th HP, and I'm just like, cool. His Q cooldown is going down, which I kind of don't like, and by kind of don't like, I mean I actually just do not like. The reason I don't like it is dodging Kogma's Q or not getting hit by it was basically the only counterplay you had to the champion. Like, that was the only gameplay. That was the only gameplay that Kogma had, was don't get hit by his passive. Or sorry, not his passive, his Q. Because his Q shreds your armor and magic resist. So if you're a tank, you would try to not get hit by his Q, right? Well, now in a lower cooldown, it, you know, kind of reduces his counterplay. But, okay. Void Ooze is getting its mana cost reduced at the early game, and then it's getting slow increased at rank 1. It's slow at rank 5 is going down by 2%, so that doesn't really matter. But the nerf to the slow the buff to the slow in the early game is definitely more impactful, particularly because Kogma maxes Void Ooze last. Leona, I had to remember this one. Back in Season 11, they double nerfed Eclipse to try to balance out Leona. They are undoing the nerf to her bonus armor and magic resist on her W, and they're undoing most of the base damage nerf to her W. So her W was 60 to 200. Now it's 55 to 195. So her W since Season 11 will have lost 5 damage. But the bonus armor... Why do they list the bonus armor and magic resist separately? That was actually screwing with my brain. I thought I didn't understand something real quick. I thought like, oh crap, have I not read these notes properly before doing the video? No, they list the bonus armor and magic resist separately, even though they're the exact same number. Okay. In a questionable decision, Riot has decided to buff Lalia and then later on buff Cosmic Insight. Cosmic Insight is getting colossally overbuffed, by the way. So... the amount of damage that Lalia will do to minions early game is up. Yeah. Then the amount of healing she gets against monsters and the amount of healing she gets against champions is going down. But they are reducing... Sorry, the amount baseline it does is going down, but the amount of AP ratio is going up. Basically, Riot doesn't want you to be building... Riot doesn't want you to be building tank Lalia anymore. They don't want that. They don't want you to building tank Lalia anymore. They want her to be really fast, and they want her to heal a lot and just be like a kitey singed. But they don't want her to be like singed part 2, even singedier. You know? They don't want singed part 2. And so the AP ratio is going way up, but the base healing is going down. Okay? Okay. Malphite's getting nerfed because he was very, 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 very overpowered. Very overpowered. Very, very, very overpowered. So the amount of damage he does on the first hit after rank 1 is going down. The amount of armor ratio he has on each hit afterwards is going down a lot. From 20% armor ratio to 15% armor ratio. This should hopefully mean that Malphite doesn't like burst people down, but then also beat them in long trades. The issue right now is most champions, like if you don't have like a counterplay to Malphite, like if you don't have like Jax's Giga Counter Strike, which isn't being nerfed by the way, or you don't do magic damage or stuff like that, there's really nothing you can do to beat Malphite. Because right now he beats you in trades due to his passive and due to W burst. Then he beats you in the all-in because his W sustained damage is really, really good. So Malphite is just colossally overpowered. Yeah. So this does hit him a good bit. 20 less burst damage is okay. But then 5% less armor ratio per hit is also pretty okay. If nothing else, the main thing this does is it nerfs his ability to scale. Nidalee is getting buffed really hard because they think she's bad at the low ranks, even though she's fine at the high ranks, which is very confusing to me. But Riot does this where every so often they decide they want Nidalee to be viable at the low ranks. And so what they do is they buff the shit out of her early game for absolutely no goddamn reason. And then they decide, oh man, now she's overpowered at the high ranks. But only after like 2 months do they do that. After like 2 months, they nerf her for the high ranks, and then, yeah. So, Nidalee, base armor up by 4, armor growth up by 0.3. So that's a pretty large buff. 32 base armor on a ranged champion. Yeah. Poppy is getting buffed because everyone else got buffed. Screw it, right? Jax now has Giga Counter Strike that obliterates tanks. So Jax is now beating a champion that he used to lose to. Much like Malphite, instead of nerfing Jax, we're just going to buff Poppy. Instead of nerfing Jace, we're going to buff Poppy. Because power creep. Yay! Poppy's Q damage will now be 9% health damage instead of 8%. The bonus resistances on her W are now 12% instead of 10%, doubled to 24%. I had to check this up. The last time they changed Poppy's W resistances was back in Season 8. That was, so 13, 12... 11, 10, 9, 8. So it was 6. I mean, what patch 13.8? So this is almost 6 years ago is when they nerfed this. Now they're not giving it back the full 15%, but they're increasing it to 12%. If nothing else, this should encourage people to build tanky Poppy again, rather than just doing. Right now, the build is basically just Bruiser one-shot Poppy, which isn't. That's not exactly what she's supposed to be doing. Rakan is getting nerfed because he is colossally overpowered. He's, honest to God, one of the most overpowered champions in the entire game right now. Massively, massively overpowered. Base armor is going down, and then his armor growth is going down. Will this balance him? No, probably not. He was viable, and then they buffed him because they were like, he's a tank support. He's not really a tank support. He's like a hybrid tank enchanter with giga mobility. And the problem is, they buffed him because they were buffing old tank supports. And then Rakan was just like, every time enchanters get buffed, Rakan gets buffed. every time tanks get buffed or cons get buffs, and he's just sitting there playing both sides, so he always comes out on top. For those of you who doubt what I'm saying, by the way, let me actually look this up real quick, because actually, yes, Rakan is that broken. Yeah, I mean 52.95% win rate with a 19.8% pick rate. He's very close to 53% win rate, 20% pick rate. He is colossally overpowered right now, and that's over 40,000 games at Masters Plus. That's a good number of games to look at. So Cosmic Drive, this buff is kind of confusing, but okay, what they're basically doing to Cosmic Drive, Cosmic Drive will get its AP ratio buffed, so its ability power is being buffed from 90 to 100, so it's just getting 10 more AP. Then, if you damage a champion, you get 2.5% movement speed every second for the next 5 seconds up to 4 stacks. Then at 4 stacks, you then get an additional 10% movement speed. Does everybody get that? It's a bit confusing. Even their wording here doesn't really make much sense. I'll need to actually look at it. I'll need to actually look at it in game to like understand fully what they're doing. But the general idea here seems to be, if you're in combat for 5 seconds with this item, you get 25% movement speed. 25%! To be clear, the highest movement speed on any other item is 15%. And they're honest to God giving this item 25% movement speed. Cool. Right? Cool. Let's see. There's behavioral changes. Reporting is now available in match history. Yes, you can now report everyone in your match history. Riot is going pretty ham on this idea of like giga nerfing the ability to ever talk in game. I've just muted my chat at this point. If you talk in chat, you'll get muted. And then even if you do talk in chat, it's just a bunch of goddamn morons anyway. Challenges. This patch includes a visual update for the challenges page. Cool. Mythic shop rotation. Cool. I looked through all the bug fixes, and there were a few of them. There were a few of them that were actually kind of odd to me. But the one that doesn't... Okay, so I'm going to make a joke here. Fixed a bug where Melio would sometimes cause games to crash if he's matched up against an Ari, Viego, or Silas. There's got to be a joke in here. I just don't know how to make it. Melio crashes the game if he's against Ari, Viego, or Silas. There's got to be a joke in here. I just don't get it, man. This is the bug that perplexes me insanely. Fixed a bug where Twitch's R AoE would not inflict damage on himself and enemies under the influence of Renata's Berserk. I'm legitimately curious now. Did Riot make it so if Twitch presses R and then he gets hit by Renata's ult, do all his shots, do they all hit himself as well every time he shoots? Because wouldn't that mean that Twitch ever getting hit by Renata's ultimate in his ultimate, like past level 11, won't that mean that he basically just kills himself? Okay. There's also some other issues here. The Tom Kench... The Tom Kench bug where you can teleport anywhere on the map isn't getting fixed, so that's going to be fun. Draven's R will no longer execute through Sivir's E or any other spell shield. Fixed a bug where Yuumi would get no friendship stacks when killing champions if Yuumi was attached. That's kind of interesting that was bugged. I feel like that's kind of a really big bug. Fixed a bug where Aurelion Soul's enhanced R shockwave would not deal damage. Interesting, again. Fixed a bug where Orin's E and R knockups were cleansable. Once again, pretty interesting, not gonna lie. Kind of sketchy. Fixed a bug where Gargoyle Stoneplate's unbreakable effect would be shortened by heal and shield power. I don't understand why or how or when this happened, but Kitty, she's killing her banana behind me. Yeah. So what do we got here? We got Dawnbreaker Renekton. It's Renekton. Breaking the Dawn. Do. I don't know. It looks cool. Every Renekton skin looks cool, though. Like, I'll be honest, you guys. Basically, every Renekton skin looks cool. Dawnbreaker Vayne. I swear I've seen this before. Have you guys? I swear I've seen this skin before. Okay. Nightbringer Jarvan. Cosmic Nidalee? No. That doesn't look like it. I mean, it kind of does. But it'd have to be from a different angle. It's extremely similar, though. I will admit it's extremely similar. Nightbringer Jarvan the Fourth. Do you think they nerfed Jarvan because like he was getting a skin and they were like, we don't want him to be overpowered while he's getting a skin? It's kind of like, it looks cool in art, right? But like when you use it in game, I'm not sure it's gonna have enough. I mean, we'll see, but I'm not sure it's gonna have enough like visual identity. You know what I mean? Like it looks cool, but also how's it gonna look in game? Nightbringer Nasus. Once again, So we got Dawnbreaker Renekton. Does Renekton have a mane now? He's got like a little lion mane? Okay. Yeah, I mean, no, it looks cool. It looks cool. No real complaints. Not really. Not really. I mean, it gives him a main, so it's like different than his other skins. Like I always say, the number one thing that Riot needs to do is make sure that they're different, right? Dawnbringer Vayne. It's like, this is what I'm actually saying. Like, part of the problem is that like, it looks cool like as a splash art, but then when you actually look at it in game, it's kind of undistinctive. Like, it doesn't do anything unique or different. It's just like, it's just Vayne, but prettier, I guess. Like, it has no distinctive effects to it. Like, why would I use this one, right? Like, when I use my Aatrox Prestige skin, I use it because I like the sword, I like the coloring, I like the sound effects, I like, you know, a lot of different stuff, right? But then, like, what would you pick this skin for? The hair? Nightbringer Jarvan the Fourth. Yes, this is exactly what I was talking about. In the splash art, it looks really cool. But then you go in game, and like, what distinctive features does this one have? I mean, I guess it's got the eye sword. It's got like the eye sword. It also, I'm gonna be honest, the quality is also pretty bad. I mean, wow. I didn't think it was that. Oh my god, the coloring is just not even close. Riot, that's like false advertising practically. Look at this jank ass little short he's got thing here. And then look at the chest coloring. Then look at this sword. Wait, I shit you not? The sword isn't even the same sword. Look at it. In this one, it's got the cool effects going up it, and it's got like this, so you can kind of like see it more, and the eye is like clear and enhanced. Look at this one. What is this? Oh, that's bad. Nightbringer Nessus. Okay, I think that one's distinct and cool. Like, I'll give it that one. This one's more what I'm talking about. This one actually looks distinctive and cool. Like, I would use this one over a different skin. Not all the time, but let's say some of the time, just because it's distinctive and cool. So, yeah. Honestly, I'm going to rate them. Yes, no, yes. That's my opinion on them. So, now comes the time of the show when I read my Patreon subscribers. Why? Because the people who subscribe to my Patreon, they support me, they support this business, and they support all of you getting your patch notes in a timely, real manner. I'm buying time to load up my Patreon thing because it's taking a while. They help you guys to get what you want so that when I don't, and then you, okay? So, anyway, so I'm like, there we go. I gotta click this button now. They changed it. They changed it, and it's like annoying the hell out of me lately. Okay, so thank you. Ezequiel Quavez, Monica, Stefan Ortman, Deep the Heretic, Nicholas Hinderer, T the Fish, Alex Tennant, Blazenrock, Christoph Marks, Guinea Shellberg, Horace the Burb God, Mr. N, Quill of Anguish, Tenchi Kanashisa, Destroy, Sebastian, M. Zareen, Ben G, Creador, Dengda, Daniel Fiala, Deruda, Yedgod, Eric Pettinelli, Flashult, Vanaku, Frost SC2, Foliuki, Gwenmato, Huni Arthur, J. Paul, Justicier, Kalfos Zeramar, Kijubi, Ludwig III, Manuel, Metal M. Morgan, Negative KTA, OMG Clover, Orahol Conite, Oz, PBNJ, RH, Redati, Scorpion, Scott Shapiro, Steberlol, Suki02, Terra, Under, Uva Plaja, Vino, Villain, Vivian, WLC League of Legends, Wolfman, and Jan. Thank you all of you for subscribing to my Patreon. If you guys support these videos and you want to support me, subscribe to my Patreon, and thank you. For those of you who don't know where I've been lately, I'm trying to push. I'm trying to push Kick right now. I've been dual streaming some of the streams, but some of the streams I do only on Kick right now because I'm trying to push Kick to have more followers, so that can kind of like, if I do dual stream, then it kind of exists on its own, and it's not just only the it's not only the YouTubers on Kick, because then I've noticed if I stream on Kick, I can get up to 200 viewers right now, which is pretty good for being new. But if I dual stream, then I only get like 20 to 30 on Kick, because all those people are just YouTubers, right? So by having more people on Kick, that enables me to sort of grow Kick organically, even like amongst Kick viewers, because let's just say Twitch seems to be making some colossal fuck ups right now that I suspect might allow Kick to cash in on. So thank you all for watching, thank you all for being here, and goodbye everybody.